All right. So I want to tell you a little bit very quickly about the company Akana. It means in the hands of God, and we're very, very proud of that. We launched our company in 4/20 of 2019. We started out with CBD products, moved into essential oils and wellness, a line of wellness in 2020. And then in 2021, we were introduced to what you have been privy to, the flat belly lifestyle. We actually now have over 32,000 customers, and we're proud that we reinvest 1% of the gross profits to empower undeserved communities. You stopping by and having that bioscan was really important because there's some statistics that are not really good. Like in 2020, nearly 700,000 people died from heart disease in the United States. And for 25% of them, guess when they found out about it? When they died, or at least they didn't find out, somebody else did, right? But the thing is this, 90% of that heart disease was preventable. You may not recognize this, but heart disease is the number one killer. Then you have cancer, but there's another one before COVID hit, and that was medical error. Me being a licensed insurance agent, like Anita said, I work with a lot of Medicare clients, and they got tons and tons of medication. And so many of them are over medicated, or they've been diagnosed with something that they could have dealt with. Now, as she also said, I am a certified wellness coach. My doctorates are not, I'm not a medical doctor, but I've gone through the training to be a certified wellness coach. But I always like for you to hear from the voice of wellness experts before we get into your bioscan results. So check this out.
2/3 of adults are now overweight or obese, and we have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country. There's no way we can sustain the current style of care with the epidemic that we're creating with our diet and lifestyle choices.
The diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths. All the data is that those 70% of deaths and morbidity are largely lifestyle related and preventable.
Most kids by age 10 in the US already have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first stage of atherosclerosis leading to heart attacks, strokes.
Here in American medicine, we operate from the disease model. We are in the business of treating sick people. We are not in the business of trying to prevent people from becoming sick.
When you look at chronic disease risk, all the things that we walk around worrying about, actually dietary choices trump smoking when it comes to those risks.
If I could deliver one message to the researchers who are looking for the cause of diabetes and the cause of clogged arteries and the cause of high blood pressure and the cause of obesity, I would tell them the answer's in 3 words. It's the food. It's what Americans are eating.
Absolutely. It's the food, guys. And so what we're doing here at Akana is we're creating another blue zone. Maybe you've never heard of blue zones. There are 6 areas in the world where people eat far less animal protein and live longer than average. We're talking about they live to be hundreds of years of age. How many of you on this call would like to live to be over 100? But the thing is, you want to live to be over 100 and be vibrant, moving around, not on a wheelchair or not on a walker, not having somebody to feed you. But these folk in these other areas of the country, and notice there's only one in the United States, because we have a problem in the United States. And our CEO, Melissa Boston, has coined this as suicide. We're literally digging our graves with our fork. When we look at your bioscan, the results of that are usually because of having too much animal protein. Come on now, I know we love our meat. Too much processed food, salt, and sugar. And then we're not up and moving, sedentary lives. We're sitting in front of the computer. We're sitting in front of the television with the remote. Kids aren't getting outside playing. So this is contributing to faster aging, cancer, heart disease, and obesity. Now, a lot of times when I sit down with a person, they'll want to quickly tell me that their mother had a heart attack and their grandmother had a heart attack, so it's just in their DNA. Well, Dr. Oz even said this: our genetics load the gun, but our lifestyle pulls the trigger. So now, let's get into the bioscan. When you look at that bioscan, it's got several different columns. The first column is the areas that were tested, and we're going to look at 4 different reports. The next column is the normal range where we would like for everybody to be. And then the third column are the actual measurements. These are your personal measurements. Realize that this was not just a generic BioScan health report card. This is yours. But we're going to pay more attention to the colors because that makes it simple to understand. Green means normal. Blue means mildly abnormal or a little bit out of balance, just a little bit. Yellow means moderately abnormal, and red means severely abnormal. I tell people all the time, I can kind of live with the greens and the blues, but I pay really close attention to the yellows and the reds. Now, if you notice, you see blue, yellow, and red on the left, and you see blue, yellow, and red on the right. What's the difference? The left means decrease, the right means increase. In other words, if there's something on the left, that particular testing item is not working as efficiently as it should. If it's on the right, it's overworking. It's really kind of the wonderful way that God made our bodies. When something's not up to par, he allows something else to overwork just to keep us alive. But we actually don't want it on the left or the right. We want it straight down the middle in the green. So then the question comes is, what's causing the increase or the decrease? What's causing this lack of efficiency or the overworking of that particular item? What's the source of it? Well, you heard the doctor say it's the food. See, we've got arteries that are clogged up, and we're going to look and see on your chart as I go through it. I want you to take an inventory and analysis yourself and see, is there some area where you have some plaque building up that's causing the oxygen not to flow? Maybe there's some mucus and some parasites building up that's over time. And remember, this is not about what you did yesterday, last week, or last month. This BioScan is showing you what's been happening in your body from a teenager up until now. Toxicity. Listen, guys, we're all getting toxins. We're getting toxins from our processed food. We're getting toxins from the meat, the packaged meat. We're getting toxins from stuff that's in a bottle or a can or a jar or a package. We're getting toxins when we walk out the door and breathe air. I live in Texas and we got chemical plants. We're getting toxins everywhere. But we've got to be able to get the toxins out. And then so many diseases are because of deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies. And you'll see if you decide to get the full report, because you only saw 4 items complementary, if you decide that you want to get that full report, then you'll be able to see where you're deficient in your vitamins and where you're deficient in your trace elements. And then last but not least, is your body acidic? Well, guess what, guys? It's already scientifically known that disease cannot dwell in an alkaline environment. And I don't mean just drinking alkaline water either, but the majority of us have an acidic body. So here we go. Let's get started. The first report we're going to look at is the cardiovascular and the cerebrovascular. That's your heart and the brain. Now, everything on the screen, all the way down to the last 2, stopping at the last 2, is the heart. The last 2 covers the brain. And remember I said normal range, your measurements. And I'm going to pair some of these together because they're so interrelated. So when we look at blood viscosity and blood fat, we're going to put those 2 together. I want you to look at your report and see where you are. This particular report, they're in the green. But if you were in the blue, the yellow, or the red, it's probably over to the right. If your blood viscosity is to the right, it means that your blood is thicker than it should be, usually because of fatty tissues. You see why I put those 2 together? So your blood is too thick. Now, if you're in the red, more than likely you're already on blood thinner. And so we've got to clean this blood out. You're going to hear me say blood over and over again because there's power in the blood. And really what's going to cause us to be able to take care of our body is to clean our blood. Then we have, because, and just compare this, because I really want you to understand it. Compare it to changing oil in a car. If you don't change the oil in the car, it becomes sludge over time, right? Doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time. And the thicker it gets, the harder it is to go through the engine of the car. Then we have cholesterol. Now, fat and toxic food and excess cholesterol. Many of you probably, if you're in the yellow, more than likely, if you're not on cholesterol medication, the doctor's trying to get you on it. But I'm here to tell you, you do not have to. Now, it's up to you. It's your choice. We never make any claims. We never tell people what to do. But let me tell you something. There are other alternatives other than taking a statin. And you'll hear testimonies of people that have used our program to get this cholesterol in check because, as the doctor said, it's the food. So now if it's over to the right, if it's in the blue, it's just a little too high. If it's in the yellow, you got a little bit more too much. You're going in the wrong direction. And that's what you're going to understand about this bioscan. If you see something, even in the red, it just means you're going in the wrong direction and we need to turn it around. See, that's what's so cool about this. Everything is reversible. Come on, I need you to get that. I need somebody to put that in the chat. It's reversible. But we got to change our diet. We got to change the kind of foods we eat. Now, if you see anything on the screen that you really, really like and you do on a regular basis, every one of these is high in cholesterol. Some of us love our bacon every single morning. We love our chicken and we think we're doing a good thing because we bake the chicken or because we eat the roasted chicken. We love our carbs. We love our pizza. Come on, y'all. But all of these are cholesterol rich foods. So it's causing that cholesterol to be higher than it needs to be. So we can do something about it. Vascular resistance is our next thing we're looking at. Looking at your report. Is it over to the right, in the blue, the yellow, or the red? Listen, if it's in the red, we've got to ring a bell and let you know you've got to go to work. Because usually when it's in the yellow or the red, you're already dealing with blood pressure. Because vascular resistance means there are plaque buildup around the walls of your arteries. And when you look at these diagrams, you see a perfect artery. And as you see progressively, more and more plaque is building up. Where does the plaque come from? It comes from our food. It comes from the mucus buildup. It comes from all the cheese we're eating. It comes from all the dairy we're eating. It comes from all the meat we're eating. Plaque is building up. Now, here's the bad thing. If it gets to that fourth circle, you see it's blocked. But even in the third circle, does the same amount of blood have to go through? Absolutely. So what does it have to do? It has to push harder. And the harder it pushes, it raises the blood pressure. And that's what blood pressure is. So it doesn't always require to be on blood pressure medicine for the rest of your life. My father died on blood pressure medicine all his life and ended up dying on dialysis because the medication did damage to his kidneys over time. But what if we just remove the plaque? Doesn't that make sense? So we want to know how, and I'm going to show you before this is over with, how to get rid of the plaque so that you don't travel to the point where you have that blocked artery. So that's the vascular resistance. Now, some people sometimes are in the yellow or the red, not because of blood pressure, but because of stress. So if you tell me, but Dr. Ross, I don't have a blood pressure problem, I've never been diagnosed with blood pressure, then I'm going to ask you, are you stressed out? Are you in a stressful job? Are you in a stressful marriage? Are you in a stressful situation? You got too much stress. So I'm going to tell you to run some bath water tonight, go cut you out a picture of the Bahamas, put it up on the wall, and get in the bathtub and quack like a duck. You've got to chill out. You've got to put all the comedy and roll on the floor. You've got to release that stress, because guess what? Has anybody told you? Stress will kill you. Now, the next thing we're going to look at, we're going to pair three of these together. Vascular elasticity, coronary artery elasticity, and cerebral blood vessel elasticity. Why? Because they all have a common denominator, one word, elasticity. Everybody's blood vessel is supposed to be elastic like a rubber band. But when plaque starts building up, that blood vessel is no longer elastic, or that artery is no longer elastic, but it begins to harden. How many ever heard of that hardening of the arteries? And when you look at the pictures, you see how it's hardening, but if it continues to harden, eventually it breaks. That's called a heart attack, a stroke, or an aneurysm. So again, we gotta remove the plaque so that now we go back to, did I say it was reversible? Absolutely. We're going back to a healthy blood vessel. Well, now I tripled these, vascular, coronary, and cerebral. Why? The only difference is the position in the heart. Remember, all of this is about the heart. The vascular elasticity is around the heart. The coronary elasticity is on the heart, and the cerebral is on the brain. So same concept. Same hardening of the arteries, just in 3 different locations. Next, we're looking at myocardial blood demand. Every 60 seconds, your heart demands a certain amount of blood to get to your heart. Have you ever noticed your heart beats faster when you exercise? Or how many of you have noticed when you have difficulty exercising? Because now your myocardial blood demand is not getting that flow to the heart as efficiently as it should. So now it's got to work harder. It's got to work harder for you to get up the stairs, and you huffing and puffing and you grabbing your chest, because myocardial blood demand is overworking just to get it there. And usually it's directly related to the plaque that's built up. See, you can look at this bioscan and compare one thing to another, because the neck bone connected to the shoulder bone, everything is interconnected. Then the myocardial blood perfusion volume, same situation. Every part of our heart must have a certain volume that takes place within that 60-second period of time. And if it's not working efficiently, usually that blood demand is having to overwork to get that to happen. Everything you need to stay alive takes place, but whether it's working efficiently or effective is the key. Because when it's not working efficiently, then there's a damage to the blood flow, and we have a blocked coronary artery. So that's what we have when we have the myocardial blood perfusion volume. Every time you hear the word perfusion, we're talking about the oxygen. Remember I said that was one of the things, oxygen getting to the blood. Myocardial oxygen consumption, same thing. The consumption, it will overwork. If you're in the blue, the yellow, the red, your body's working really hard, because every time the heart contracts, there's a certain amount of oxygen that's got to come to the heart every time the heart beats. And so if it's on the right, it is working harder than it should. And you wonder why you're so tired all the time. Stroke volume. Now, don't be alarmed. If it's in the blue, the yellow, or the red, it does not mean you're having a stroke. Every time the heart contracts, that represents a stroke. 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 3 strokes. So now if you're not stroking as efficiently as it should, because it'll be on the left-hand side in the blue, the yellow, or the red, guess what? It's an easy solution. Yes, it is. I need you to exercise. And if you're exercising, I need you to change it up sometime. I was talking to a lady once, she was a runner, and I say, I need you to sprint sometime. Because see, the heart can get used to doing certain kinds of things, and it needs you to change it up. That's why they have the HIIT exercises and the rebounders. And then, okay, I know you're telling me you got bad knees, you got bad back, you got a bad thing. I don't care what you got. You can exercise. Get a YouTube video and sit in the chair. I was doing it with a chair lady one time, and she was just going, and I started huffing and puffing, and then she said, okay, that's the warm-up. I said, the warm-up? And it was just sitting in a chair. So see, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about movement. You gotta have some movement. Then we're looking at the left ventricular ejection impedance. Where is that on your report? Over to the right, in the blue, the yellow, or the red? Well, the left ventricle is designed in your heart to send the blood, the oxygen, the nutrients, because that's what goes through our body, not just blood, but oxygen and nutrients, if you're eating the right kind of food, but to send it to the legs and other parts of the body. Have you ever felt numbness in your legs? Have you ever felt your ventricles, or you having problems with the movement of your legs and things? You know, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on. I just can't get moving. Well, because the left ventricle needs to send that blood down to the legs, send the oxygen to the legs. Varicose veins, some people have varicose veins, and that's the reason, because there's a blood clotting up there, plaque building up there, not allowing that passage to flow like it should. Coronary perfusion pressure. Remember I said what perfusion was? Oxygen. That's the coronary artery. When we see that, it's on the heart. So the artery is only so large, but pressure leans up against those walls and causes it to be difficult for the blood and the oxygen to pass through, because of the plaque buildup, because of the oxygen not flowing. So if it's on the right, it's overworking. And then last but not least, because we already talked about cerebral blood vessel, remember? Brain tissue blood supply status. Now that's pretty self-explanatory because your brain tissue needs the right amount of blood supply to flow through it. How many of you ever talked to one person one day and the next day they had an aneurysm? Well, if they had done this bioscan, that would probably be in the red, and we know we need to clean the blood up because blood clots lead to strokes or lead to aneurysms, and there's something we can do about it. So none of this is bad news. It's just that you're finding out, and I really tip my hat out to you for taking the time to stop by and get the bioscan done, because if you're going in the wrong direction, you want to know so you can turn it around. All right, let's get to the next report, the liver. I'll give you time to find that picture, find that report. Hopefully you have it there, the liver function. Now, I'm going to start this particular report card from the bottom and work my way back up. Because really the main thing is that liver fat content. And listen, guys, if yours is in the yellow or the red, you have a fatty liver. Okay? Well, Dr. Ross, what is the liver? What's the job of the liver? Well, let's think about your car again. You have the oil changed on a regular basis, right? But what else do they change? They don't just change the oil, they change the oil filter. Now, what if they didn't change the filter and they only changed the oil and sent the clean oil through a dirty filter? Well, that's easy. It would still be dirty. Well, that's what's happening in our bodies. Dirty blood. The life of the flesh is in the blood. But because our liver is not functioning, or it's having to work harder to pull that fat out, which it's supposed to do, because some people say, well, I don't have to do a detox because my liver is supposed to detox. You're right, it's supposed to. But if it's in the yellow and the red, it's not doing it. It's saying, I'm tired. You've been eating all this meat. You've been eating all this fried food. You've been eating all this cooked food. You've been doing all this stuff, all these things that you really know you shouldn't be doing. And over time, I'm tired of functioning. So now I've got to work harder to detoxify. That's why we have to do the detox. And then we have a fatty liver. Now, most people, when they think about liver disease, they think about alcoholics. But there's a thing called a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that is a potentially fatal condition that wreaks as much damage to your liver as if you were drinking a bottle of vodka a day. And you may not even be drinking at all. So we want to get away from the fatty liver because undetected, or if we never do anything about it, and remember, let me say this about everything we see in this report. If you see this report and you have something in the yellow, even something in the blue, and you never do anything about it, you don't change your lifestyle, you don't change any kind of part of your things that you're eating, you don't detox your body at all, it's not going to stay there. It's going to keep moving, excuse me, in the wrong direction. So a fatty liver progresses to liver fibrosis, which progresses to cirrhosis of the liver. And you're not even an alcoholic because it gets harder and harder. And now it's not detoxing anymore. Bowel secretion function. Look at your report. If it's not in the green, it should be over to the left. Bowel is necessary. So if the bowel is not being created because it's a secretion from the liver that helps you in digestion, and in humans, it's produced in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. So we need bile. How do we get bile? We get bile with certain kinds of foods, mostly from organic acids, lemons and limes and green tea and bitters, bitter stuff. Oh my God, we don't like bitter stuff. We live in a country, we want sweet everything. But that's how you get bile flow. Warm spices, prebiotic foods. So we need more bile in our lives. And when you look at your report, if you're in the yellow or the red, even in the blue, we want to get you in the green. And then the last three we're going to talk about is protein metabolism, energy production function, and detoxification function. All of this is related to how well is your liver functioning. This particular report, they're doing pretty good because they're all in the green. But let's look at your report. You know where you are, especially with that liver fat content. Kidney, that's our next report. Hope you pull that one up. Your next report is your kidney. Now, we call it the UB index. So I don't have to say that big long word, right? The UB index. And then the uric acid. You see, I've got that one in red because that one is really important. A lot of times people are already in the red. See, what happens is when you do a lot of animal protein, I can tell when people are meat lovers because they're going to be in the red there over to the right because uric acid, too much animal protein. It also comes from when you are that person that unfortunately is on a lot of medication. Listen, guys, unfortunately, medication over time damages the kidneys. I told you about my dad, and because it's chemicals. Okay. Now, I'm not saying get off your medication. I'm saying understand what's happening and begin to do the necessary things in your body so that your doctor tells you, oh, what are you doing? We have it happen all the time. Doctors will say, what are you doing? Whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. Let's lessen your dosage because that's the goal. Because over time, that's in the red and uric acid crystallizes and it goes all the way down your body to that big toe, and that's called gout. And then the BUN, the BUN, the blood urea nitrogen. All of this is related to your kidneys as well as too much protein in your urine. See, when you love animal protein, you're a lover of it all the time, can't do without it. You've got to understand what's happening because there are other ways to get protein other than meat, right? You can get too much because the body naturally produces protein. So if you're looking at your report and it's over in the blue, the yellow, or the red to the right, your body is having to overwork to actually filter out this protein that needs to be filtered out. And you're moving through stages of kidney disease. Please understand, nothing happens overnight. It happens over time. When you go to the doctor and he says you have stage 4 cancer, but never told you had stage 1, it didn't just jump from 0 to 4. When you have kidney disease and you're on dialysis, that didn't just jump from 1 to 5. It happened over time. And that's the beauty of this bioscan, because it lets you know the progression of where you are from the cellular level of your body. That's what it's reading. It's reading all of our cells send out energy, and the disorder of that energy represents what we're looking at tonight. So that uric acid is important. Gout, kidney stones, kidney failure. Take a look at that. I don't want you to have that over to the yellow or especially in the red. And then in our gut, there's a thing called pepsin and peristalsis. It means how well we're digesting our food. And if you're not digesting your food well and you're sitting here and you know you don't digest well, you eat and you got to catch yourself and you just got to take a breath. Well, you're not digesting well and you more than likely are not having the bowel movements that you should have. And over time, it affects your kidneys. The protein urea then travels over into your urine. Because the job of the kidney is to filter. It's a filtration system. That's all dialysis is, a man-made filtration system that they connect you to help you filter everything out through your body. But we don't want the man-made filtration. We want the God-made filtration system. Our last report is called your basic, and it deals with your alkaline or acidic body. Now, maybe, have you ever heard of that terminology? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But let me break it down like this, because we want your body to be alkaline. But just imagine you go to the store, you buy a battery, and that battery, Duracell, Energizer Bunny, whatever, and you put the battery in your devices or in your remote, and it works, and it works, and it works, and it works, all of a sudden it stops working. Because it was alkaline, and now it has become acidic. The same thing happens to our body. Because of the kinds of food that we eat, because of our diet, because of our lifestyle, many of us, because of our diet and toxins and stress, we have an acidic body. And how do you see that? Now, when you look at the pH at the bottom of this particular report, you don't see any blue or the yellow. It's either red or green. Your body's either alkaline or it's acidic. We want you alkaline. But I'll give you some good news so you don't get crazy about seeing the red, because a lot of people are in the red. But look at the number. and see just how close you are. Like this one here is 3.003, and the normal range starts at 3.156. So really, they're just 0.1 away. So if they just start making some changes, it will definitely push them into the green. But it doesn't stop there, because you also have your response ability. If you find yourself just kind of being sluggish, your mental power, your water shortage, your hypoxia, that's the oxygen around your cells, all of these things, and I'm gonna say it again, disease cannot dwell in an alkaline state. Cancer cells will die if your body's in an alkaline state. So where should we be in this spectrum? Most of us, we do too much under 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we need to add a whole lot more 7, 8, 9, and 10 on our plate. One of the things that I suggest to people all the time, come on, just do it 80-20. 80% of 7, 8, 9, and 10. This is a way to get started. And only 20% of something over there at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Everybody won't be a vegan. Everybody won't be a vegetarian. Everybody won't be plant-based, but you can move towards those arenas by choice. But the one thing you can do is spend more time on the right side of this spectrum. Now that's your bioscan report, the complimentary report that you were given at the conference. And that's a wonderful thing. Just because of the conference, you were given that complimentary report. But that bioscan report has 45 different areas of your body. So here's what I suggest. I suggest you get back with Fred and Anita and all the other people that worked with them, whoever did your bioscan, and ask them, how do I get my full bioscan report? Now, there's a charge for it, but you want to know what's going on with your gallbladder and your pancreatic functions. You want to know what's going on with your blood sugar. You want to know about your vitamin deficiency. I told you, some things we're deficient in our vitamins that cause Parkinson's, that cause other diseases. You want to know what you could do to stop having all these allergies you have. And one of the things you could do is get off of dairy. I'm going to give you that one for free. Skin, it shows you all these things, even for women, your breast, and for men, your prostate. Over 45 areas of your body. It's over 100 pages. So I suggest that you find out how I can get that full bioscan report, because every individual has the potential to become a rechargeable battery by detoxing and becoming alkaline. We can all reverse the direction we're going by flushing the body. Guess what? If you went home tonight, I hope you won't be too grossed out by me saying this, and you got on the toilet and did your thing and didn't flush it, and then came back in the morning and did it again and didn't flush it, guess what? We have a situation on our hands. Well, that's what we're doing with our physical bodies. Because we never detox, we don't get the toxins out, we don't get the mucus out. All this stuff is building up on the inside of us, waste and parasites and plaque. You've got to flush the body with a detox cleanse, and drink juice and have fruits and vegetables in your life. But it starts with learning your blood type. Okay, how many of you know your blood type? I know some of you had a blood type test. And if you learned your blood type, you've already started the battle, because your blood type is a more reliable measure of your identity than your race, your culture, your geography. It's a genetic blueprint of who you are and a guide to how you can live most healthfully. Do you know that you could be an A and you're eating like an O? Maybe your husband is an O and you're an A and y'all are eating the same diet, and one person's food is another person's poison, because each blood type has its own antigen, meaning it's not able to digest the same. So one of the things that we offer here at Akana is a blood type starter kit. Now, when you get the starter kit, we got two ways of getting it. You can get it with the blood type test kit or without. So if you've already gotten your blood type test and you know your blood type, then you don't need number one, you need number two. Because not only does it come with the blood type, which gives you everything that you need, and if you saw them doing it, the whole package, it's amazing. In 5 minutes, you actually know what your blood type is. But it also comes with bitters. Did you hear me talk about bitters a few minutes ago? Yeah, bitters is powerful. It helps boost digestion and regulate your appetite and support the liver detoxification. It helps eliminate fat-soluble toxins through the digestive system, and it helps to alkalize the body and improve your gut, because your gut is your second brain, guys. It's where the 75% of your immune system is, and we need better gut health. And it's easy to do. You just boil 40 ounces of water, remove from the heat, put the whole tea bag in the water, let it sit overnight, 8 hours, put it in a jar in the refrigerator, and then you drink 8 ounces once a day or 4 ounces twice a day. And you just do that for 4 days. And you're going to eat a good blood type meal plan, stay away from sugar and carbs, and because those can hamper your overall effectiveness. Now, I'm the first to tell you, it's pretty nasty. I don't tell nobody it's not nasty. This particular bitters is just like the name it says, but it works. We have people that have given great testimonies of it working. And then once you do a detox, we have been privileged to have the world's first flat belly fuel. It's a meal replacement. See, once you lose some weight, once you get the toxins out, get the waste out your body, you don't want to go back. You want to have something that's going to help you with your blood type support. You want to have something that's going to give you some antioxidants to fight against the things that are coming against you. You want to have something that's going to give you some omega-3 instead of omega-6, because omega-6 we get from all the fast food and all the canned food, but we need more omega-3, like with your salmon and your fish. And then we need prebiotics and probiotics, all of this, and plus we need to eliminate those parasites. All of this is in this flat belly fuel. So we suggest that that's something you can decide about getting after you finish our detox program, because it's also got aronia berry in it. And some of you may have heard of elderberry or blueberries. Those are high-rated ORAC scores that let you know how good they are. The higher the score, the better they are at keeping you healthy. But we're privileged here at Akana that we have the way that the farm that we get it from grows. The ORAC score is different from anywhere else you can buy. It's 40,000. So the results from having the aronia berry as a part of this flat belly fuel are amazing. And then with that whole kit, we're going to help you with your blood type. Now you know your blood type. Now you need to know what you should be eating according to your blood type. So you're going to get a yes list, not a no list. It's one thing to see what you can't have, but we need you to know what you can have. And either one of these. Now, that's one way. Now, we also have a 7-day or 21-day detox cleanse. This one is a little more involved because it's a raw cleanse. Yes, you're going to eat raw for 7 days or 21 days, and you're going to drink juice. You're going to juice, not juice at the grocery store. You're going to juice 3 times a day. And you're going to have a limited time when you purchase the cleanse regimen. So we want you to know that you can learn what to eat or avoid according to your blood type at the same time. But here you can have pretty much whatever you want as long as it's raw. 7 days or 21 days. And we've got a community that's going to work with you. Now, the 7 days is a nice reset, because I know some of you say, oh, no, I don't know if I can do raw for 21 days. I understand. So start with 7. If you can't do 7, then start with 4. I mean, we've got whatever, but not doing a detox is not an option. Let me explain the 7 or 21 day. It has these products that you're going to put in your juice. The Eliminator. It's going to pull out the excess mucus and parasites. Yes, we've got mucus buildup. For those of you who love your cheese, guess what? Just your cooked food. Cooked food causes mucus. The dairy causes mucus. You say, but I don't do milk. Guess what? You're getting it in your dressings. You're getting it in all kinds of foods. But this Eliminator, all these are natural. Our naturopathic doctor brought all this to us, and some of you probably heard him at one of the events before. But all of this is naturally done. And then the purifier. Here's another T, because no healing can take place until you clean out the sewer system. So this is a different tea from the bitters tea. Now, this one's not nasty. Like I said, the other one's nasty. But this one's really decent, but you do the same thing, boil the water, drop it in there, and now you're going to use this every day of your 7 days. And we got a full regimen. Everything's going to be written out for you. And then the regenerator. You're going to add this directly to your juice. And it's going to give you all of these wonderful minerals that we're missing in our body because we're not getting them in our food. Ashwagandha, probiotics, dolce, prebiotics, moringa, beetroot, rose hips, all of these. My goodness, you will be amazed at how your body receives them. And then we're also going to ask you to get a few other items like flaxseed, cayenne pepper, liquid chlorophyll, have alkaline water, aloe vera juice, and you're going to eat salads. And remember I said the 7 and 21 day is about raw fruits, vegetables, and salad for that 7 or 21 days. And if you got a lot of stuff in the red, I'm just telling you, whether you do it or not, you need to do 21 days. You need to get your body back in check. It's a sacrifice. It causes dedication, but we're not going to leave you by yourself. We're going to work with you because you've got a wellness coach, you've got wonderful people around you, and we even have a session that we do every Tuesday night where we check in with each other and just encourage each other, share recipes, all kinds of stuff, groceries, what you need to get. Just in that part is free group coaching because so many people have had fantastic results. I mean, look at these results. It's been tried and proven. Matter of fact, I want you to hear from one of the ladies who is one of our co-founders of the company, what happened in her life.
I was able to lose 14 pounds, 6 inches. And I love the way I look. I'm not gonna lie, I am loving this. But let me tell you what I love even more. I dropped my cholesterol 50 points, blood pressure stabilized. And my doctor and I had been fighting for the last 5 years because she wanted to put me on a statin, and I absolutely refused. And she told me I would never change my cholesterol, lower it by diet alone. Well, you can know how excited I felt when I had dropped it 50 points. I want to be optimally healthy until the day I just close my eyes and I'm not here anymore. I hope you join us.
I hope you join us too, Phyllis. So in closing, a detox is your opportunity to give your body a break and allow your own self-cleansing and self-healing processes to kick into gear. So we're excited to have you to be a part of what we're doing to help you elevate with Akana. Welcome to the family. Join us by doing that 4-day, 7-day, 21-day, whatever you need to do. But by all means, go and get the full report because you need to know what's going on in all those other areas of your body. All right, back to you, Fred and Anita.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Roz. That was excellent. As I said before, she is our Vice President of Communications, and she